Welcome, everyone, to the Resilient, Wild, and Unstoppable interview series. And I've had such a rich conversation already with Robin, and now I get to introduce her to you. And I really want you to listen to everything she has to say. She and I have had some similar experiences, and it's powerful. So, Robin, I'm curious. What actually got you? I know we talked about real estate and Dallas and the market and things like that. And you are on a powerful journey to really help seniors. What really got you started on that path that is so rich for our community to listen to?
Well, thank you for having me. I am excited to chat with you this afternoon. I've been a real estate agent for 18 years. I got my license here in Dallas in 2008. Not really the best time to get a real estate license, but it all worked out. It all worked out in the end. And just trucking along, doing my thing. And then in 2023, my mother's health declined. There was a day when I had to rush to her apartment and climb through a window in order to reach her. And that set us on a path that, we just really, my sister and I, nor my mother, really knew what we were doing. Um, and making decisions in urgency, having arguments, um, stubbornness of mothers and daughters, figuring out Medicare and doctors and what's a rehab and what do you mean you're gonna discharge her? She can't walk. What and just 4 months of just I don't even know the right word for it.
Yeah.
And once we got through that, and I stopped and I took a nap and, and I slept a little bit and started to figure this out, I realized if I didn't know what to do, and I have resources, right? I knew people in senior living, I knew people in senior placement, I knew people that understand Medicare. I have a friend that she's retired United Healthcare CEO for Medicare that I
Wow.
had to pull out of retirement so I could get somebody on I mean, I had that. Not everybody has that.
Right.
And I realized just what the lack of information was out there for people once you hit 60, whether it is you or your adult children or you're the adult child and it's your parents. It's this whole 60 to 100, right? This last 40 years of our lives, and nobody knows what to do
Right.
because nobody's done it before.
Yeah.
And so I really wanted to create an environment where people can learn things, educate themselves, make a good plan for themselves and their loved ones, manage their housing situation in a way that is safe for them and that they can live the life that they choose for as long as they can. So that's really how I just got on my soapbox about this.
Well, and it's powerful because it it's needed. I see it all the time where people are in these houses and, the kids, they're in their houses for a long period of time.
Mhm.
And when you're in a house for a long period of time, I can say you collect a bunch of stuff.
You do. You do. And it's not hoarding.
Right,
It's not hoarding. That's a whole separate thing. But it's
right.
acquisition over 40 years.
Yeah,
And if you are one of the adult children and your stuff is still in your bedroom at your parents' house, you go get it today. Go get it. Mom and dad's house is not a free storage unit for you. If you want it, go get it. Otherwise, they have my permission to get rid of your stuff.
oh my,
I see that so much. Well, the kids' stuff is up there. Tell them to come get it.
right.
They're 35 years old. Tell them to put it in their own house. No.
Oh my
I'm sorry,
God.
that's a rule. Go get your stuff from your mom and dad's house.
So, Okay, we can derail this on
Yeah,
furniture
sorry about
stuff.
that.
No, that well, and that's important
It
because
is.
there's a lot of collection of stuff and there's a lot of memories and a lot of concern and a lot of fear that goes along with what do I do with it? How do I
Yeah.
move through this? And people get stressed out and angered and frustrated and feel like they're on this roller
Yeah.
coaster of unknowns. And
Yeah.
so it's powerful to know that there are people like you that can say, hit pause and let's,
And let's look at this a little differently, right? I do talks at our local community senior community center, and the ones that fill the room the most are the people that say, I have so much stuff in my house. My kids don't want it. And I'm like, well, you can't get your feelings hurt when your kids don't want your china.
right.
They don't want it. So then you just need to move it on out of the house. You know, I always tell people and I got this from Dana K. White, who wrote a book called Decluttering at the Speed of Life.
Mm,
And it changed the way I look at a lot of the ways I look at this, right? And she says, she goes, you can keep anything, you just can't keep everything,
right.
right? You can't keep the whole 200-piece set of china, but you could keep a teacup and a saucer to remind you of your grandmother
Hmm.
or something like that. And so, but that is that's the first part of somebody that may need to make a move is they sit with all the memories and all the things and can't get past that. If they could get past that, then they could go live a whole different life that they choose.
Yeah. Yeah. Create that freedom and
It
space.
is. It's a ball and chain.
Hmm.
It's a ball and chain.
So I'm loving this conversation. What are a few super tips that you can provide people as kind of a starting point that maybe even thinking about how to take that next step? What is that next step?
Well, first of all, if you're young enough, right? So you're not my mom, 89 and disabled, but you're me, you're 62 and able-bodied. Start getting rid of stuff now. Just start doing it now. Take something out. I am on my own. I've given myself a challenge. At least one thing a day comes out of my house,
Mm,
and it goes in the car. And once a week, I drop off at some place to donate it, or that way it's just moving out. You don't have to do it all in a day or a weekend. I think a lot of us look at the garage and go, oh my God, I've got to take care of this garage and it's going to take me, you know, a month. And then so they close the door
yeah.
and another month goes by and it's still there. And more stuff is moved out of the house into the garage. So just acknowledging that things need to go.
Uh-huh.
And when you pick something up, so when you pick, I don't have anything right here, but when you pick this thing up, you ask yourself, does it belong here? Is this
Mm,
where I'm going to look for this when I need it? And if it's not, then go put it there, right? It's a long story why the title to my car was in my bathroom. Long story how it ended up in the bathroom. But it was like, okay, this is in the bathroom and this is not where the title of your car goes. It goes upstairs in and I call it a next of kin box, the knock box. It goes up there so that should somebody need it,
hmm.
right? So something happens to me and they need my car title, everything's in one place.
Right.
So instantly take it from the bathroom and put it where it belongs, not in a box to be put away later, because it won't be.
Right.
Take it right then. And that helps you declutter and also it helps you organize. It helps you get rid of the things that aren't serving you. And it does it in a way that is not overwhelming because you can give yourself 10 minutes to clean this dresser off.
Yeah.
And then if you want to do more, you can. But just don't try and do it the whole house in a weekend. That's it. We're going to clear this whole house in a weekend because it's not going to happen.
No, no, that'll stress you out even more.
Yeah, yeah, it's just not going to happen. And if you are older, right, and you're not able to do it because of physical limitations, then you can hire people to help you do that, right?
Mm,
There are people that will help you make decisions on what is trash, what stays, and what goes.
yeah. Oh my gosh, that is such helpful information because I've seen it, you've seen it, and so many of us experience it, especially when we get
Yeah.
into our 60s and we have parents that, we have to move or we have to figure out what those next steps are.
Yeah. And I tell people, I've got a friend, she's 88 years old, still lives very independently in her house, and her house is very full. And I was talking with her about this kind of this transition, gentle transition. And she says she's going to live in her house. She's going out toes up, right? That's her thing. And that's great. I told her, I hope you do, but we need to make sure it's safe. And it's not safe when you've got all these things in it.
Hmm.
And I said, I want you to think, because she loves her people so much. She's got the biggest heart. And if you are her people, she loves you a lot. And we were talking, and I said, one day you're not going to wake up because nobody's getting out alive, right?
Hmm.
That's the guarantee, right? And she goes, that's right. And I said, because the day you don't wake up is the day somebody else has to deal with this. And she looked at me, and I said, do you want to make it easier for them, or they're already going to have a hard time because you didn't wake up? Do you want to make it a little easier for them by them not having to go through all of your paperwork and shred everything with your social security card number on it, or your social security number? So it's things like that. Just, thinking about a little bit at a time, just doing what you can and asking for help. Asking for help.
Yeah, that gave me chills.
But
Oh my gosh.
it's a reality, right? It's a
Yes.
reality. And, my father was a very pragmatic man, and I am my father's daughter. And once, I've gone through some of this stuff, then it has become necessary for me to take care of this for my own life and in my own world. I'm not saying this from, you know, some pedestal like I'm so great. I got my own issues, right? I've got my dad's tools in my garage, right? That came out of his garage, trying to help my stepmom when he passed. And, so these things find their way around the family,
Yeah,
whether the people of the family want them or not.
right.
But it ends up there. It's grandma's china, it's my aunt's Christmas decorations, or it's dad's tools, or it's whatever that is. And so it all ends up there, but that is what holds us back sometimes from the life we actually want to live,
Yes.
right? If I didn't have all this stuff, I could sell my house, and I would, my house, I can get $500,000 for it because I bought it in 1972 for 100,000, and now it's worth a lot. I can sell my house and I can go get on a cruise ship, or I can go buy another house next to my grandkids and live with them. But now I'm stuck in this house and I'm nowhere near my family, or I'm not traveling like I want to, or I'm not living the life I wanted. And so that's what I want to do, is I want to give people the permission, if you will, to
Mhm.
let some of that stuff go. And it's okay to go live the life you want,
Yes. Oh,
right? It's
right.
okay. It's okay that nobody wants your china. And it's okay that nobody, you know, it's okay to tell your kids to come get their stuff out of their old bedroom, those cheerleading trophies and soccer trophies and the pom-poms and all that have been there for 30 years. They can go now. And it's okay to tell them to come get it by a certain date. And if they don't, what it is up to, it is my prerogative as to what will happen to them. So if you want them, you need to come get them. It's a rule. And it's okay. And it's okay. You don't have to feel guilty about it. You don't have to think you have to leave this house to your children.
Hmm.
A lot of people think that's that legacy as well. You don't have to. You can go take that money and go live on a cruise ship for a year if you want to,
Yeah,
because it's yours. That was
right.
your that was your life. It's your asset.
Living your own legacy
Yes. And
and
I think your kids would rather you live with them and live fully with them and live fully yourself than leave even, I mean, and I'm not saying $500,000 isn't a lot of money in a house, but I think they'd rather have you.
Mhm.
That's my thought. So,
That is, I love the thought, and it's valuable and important. And I am so grateful that we had this conversation because I think it's going to be very beneficial to so many that may not even realize they needed to hear this.
well, and if I can just instill a little curiosity, get people to ask a few questions of themselves or their loved ones,
Mhm.
I think we will see better planning. I think we'll see better planning as this generation continues to move because this baby boomer generation. So in 2035, there will be more people over the age of 65 than there are under the age of 18 for the first time in recorded history.
Oh,
We're living that much longer, and people are having fewer children or waiting to have children. So now we've got this very large demographic. And I think if we can just start asking some questions and not being afraid of asking questions of ourselves and our loved ones, that this 30, 40 years that we have in front of us will go a lot more smoothly.
mm. So I'm curious if you have a question or two that you recommend that people ask themselves.
Ask themselves. One is this where I want to be for the rest of my life? And if the answer is yes, then it's okay. Can I do this safely in its current state? And if that answer is no, then you need to start asking the next questions because just because we're fine and we can go work out and do things doesn't mean 10 years from now it's going to be the same.
Hmm.
We don't know when, you might have, and I'm not wishing the worst on anybody, but, people have strokes every day. People, my dad was fine until he got cancer and then he wasn't fine.
Right,
Right. So we don't know what's going to happen.
right.
And yet we can say, all right, I can live in this house because I have a bedroom and a bathroom downstairs. So even if I never go upstairs again, I'm fine downstairs. But what do I need to do to make sure it's safe for me? Walk in showers versus stepping over a tub, and adapting your house now
Right.
so that you can stay there. Or if this isn't where you want to be, where do you want to be? I want to
Hmm.
be closer to my grandkids. They live in Austin. Okay, then let's work towards doing that. I
Right.
want to live on a cruise ship. It's cheaper than senior living and they clean my cabin and I have food all day. Great. What does that look like? You know, one extreme to the next, but it's your life. So that's what I would really, the first question is this where I want to be for the next 10, 20, 30 years? And really decide, okay, yeah, for 10, but in 20, I think I'm going to want to do this, or in 30, I think I'm going to want to do that.
Hmm.
Just and tell people that. That's a whole other conversation about telling people things.
That's the next interview.
Like I warned you, I could go on for hours. I could go on for hours on this because there's so many things that we don't think about and that people haven't done historically that we really need to start doing now.
Yes. And this has been such a rich interview. And I am so grateful to have you today speaking about what all this important information that's so valuable. So thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate the time.